जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश प्यारे, जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश प्यारे। एक दंत अति विशाल शोभित सिंदूर भाल, मोतियन की कंठ माल नैनारत नारे। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश प्यारे। सुर नर मुनि धरत ध्यान, पावत बैकुंठ धाम। तुलसीदास करत नमन, चरण में तिहारे। जय गणेश जय गणेश प्यारे, जय गणेश प्यारे। ए, So, on the behalf of Bhavan's team, I welcome you all to this session on question paper design and development for senior secondary classes. For this, first of all, we are highly thankful to Dr. A.K. Sharma sir, our Regional Education Officer, Bharati Vidya Bhavan Delhi Kendra, for providing this opportunity to us and providing this platform to all of us, where all the educators of Bhavans across the nation can collaborate to share their insights, leading to the enhancement of their teaching skills and hence the attainment of learning outcomes. As assessment of learning outcomes plays the most crucial role in the learner centered, outcome based teaching learning process, all the assessments and question papers need to be designed and developed in such a manner that assess the learners on the basis of their skills and competences rather than merely their rote learning. The series of these sessions are an endeavor to equip the Bhavan's educators with the skills to develop competency-based question papers. Now, I invite Mr. Hartinder Kumar, PGT Physics, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, SL Public School, Amritsar, to share his insights for the design and development of physics question paper for senior secondary classes. He has vast experience of 27 years of teaching and mentoring. He is CBSE Best PGT Physics Teacher Awardee 2018-19. He is CBSE Resource Person, a recipient of Bhavan's Chindal Award for Best PGT across the nation. He has been the recipient of Best Teacher Award by Rotary Club for 5 times. He is a mentor and guide teacher for National Children's Science Congress, CBSE Science Exhibitions, Inspire Manak Award, and many more. Welcome, sir. Over to you.
Good evening. Namaskar to all. My sincerest gratitude to Dr. A.K. Sharma, our Regional Educational Officer, who has shown faith on me and has given me this opportunity to interact the PGT physics teachers of Bhavans. My topic for today is design and development of question paper for class 12th physics. My dear friends, there is a paradigm shift, there is a drastic shift of the design and development of physics question paper for class 12 after the COVID era. Before 2020, we used to have assessment that used to test merely the rote learning ability of the children. But now the CBSE has drastically transformed all assessments, all question papers at all levels. from rote learning to competency based. And this has become possible with the introduction of National Education Policy in 2020. My dear friends, the vision of National Education Policy 2020 is to provide an education to all, which is a blend of great Indian ethos and 21st century skills. There are three skills which have been identified as 21st century skills. The first one is learning skills. There are four learning skills: critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Second one is literacy skills. There are three skills identified as literacy skills, known as IMT, that is information, media, and technology skill. And there are five skills called as life skills, known as FLIPS: flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. So in all, there are 12 skills which are identified as 21st century skills. And we have this great responsibility to develop and enhance these 21st century skills among our learners. And for this, we are required to reform our all pedagogical practices that we use during the classroom teaching. My dear friends, the vision of 2020 NAP directs all of us that the children should not only learn. The learning is not important. The important is that how children learn. The education across India must move towards less content to learning how to think critically, how to solve the problems in daily life, how to be creative, how to be innovative, and how to adapt in the changing situations. All pedagogical practices are required to be evolved, and they are required to be made more experiential, holistic, inquiry-driven, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, and of course, enjoyable. The NAP 2020 strongly recommends the competency-based education to enhance the development of 21st century skills among learners. My dear friends, we are to use innovative pedagogies in the classrooms to ignite the young minds so that our young children are future ready. Are future ready, I mean to say that they can adapt the drastically changing technology and the environment. And this will be possible only if we will transform our all assessments from rote learning to competency based. Now, why competency based questions? Why CBSE has transformed the assessments from rote learning to competency based? Why CBSE is urging us, all of us, to develop 21st century skills among learners? Because The CBSE wants to eliminate predictability. What is predictability? पेपर से 2 दिन पहले स्टूडेंट्स हमारे पास आते हैं इंपोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन मार्क कर, एंड वी मार्क फ्यू क्वेश्चंस. वी यूज्ड टू डू दिस. और अगर 20 क्वेश्चंस मार्क किए हैं उसमें से 10 आ जाते थे. दिस इज प्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी, and which is purely based on rote learning. Overnight rote learning किया, 25-30 questions learn किए और पास हो गए. This is not the aim of education. This is not the aim of teaching physics to the children. So we need to eliminate this predictability and rote learning. And this is only possible if we introduce the competency-based questions in all assessments at all levels. This is not only for class 12. This is for every class. We have to eliminate the rote learning and predictability. So CBSE vision is very clear. The CBSE doesn't want to promote rote learning in India. See, it is very sad to share here that when some international companies say that 95% of Indian engineers are worthless, they are useless because they don't have skills to survive in the world where the technology is changing after every second. Now, how can we make our engineers and doctors future ready? We can do this if we develop skills and competencies among learners rather than just promoting the rote learning in the classroom teaching. And across pan-India, the ultimate tool to assess children's skills and competencies is Bloom's taxonomy. Now, I'm here going to discuss with you all the cognitive domain, the intellectual domain of Bloom's taxonomy. If you look at the slide, it is an hierarchy of 6 levels, ranging from remember to create. All CBSE question papers are aligned with the cognitive domain of the Bloom's taxonomy. As per CBSE guidelines, as per NCERT guidelines, all assessments in a teaching learning process at all levels must be aligned with the cognitive domain of the Bloom's taxonomy. So there are 6 levels at which we test the children. The first one is remember. Then we have understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The first 3 levels, my dear friends, the first 3 levels, remember, understand, and apply, they represent low order thinking skills. Whereas the upper 3 levels, analyze, evaluate, and create, they represent high order thinking skills. The questions based on the upper 3 levels are usually called as HOTS. So these are the 6 levels which we will have to learn first in order to develop and design a good question paper. Now I will discuss in detail with you that what is Bloom's taxonomy, so that we can effectively integrate Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive domain with all our assessments. whether it's a mere quiz or it's a short test taken in the classroom teaching. All assessments at the school level must be aligned with the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, see, the first level is remembering. The remembering means just recalling an information. It is purely based on rote learning. You have to mug up the things, and whenever asked upon, you have to reproduce those informations. The questions based on remembering level generally starts from what, when, what is the unit of force, what is the unit of pressure, what is the name of scientist, define force, define pressure, define linear momentum, define electric flux. So all questions where the children need to recall the knowledge gained in the classroom teaching belong to the level of remembering. Next, we have understanding. Understanding means the children are able to comprehend the concept. So the questions based on understanding normally starts from briefly explain, describe. All explanation, all descriptions belong to the understanding questions. Draw the label diagram. The diagram, which is the part of the syllabus. So when we draw the diagrams, the questions belong to the understanding level. Next, we have applying type of questions. Application means that we are able to solve a real life problem by using a concept learned in the classroom teaching. If your children are able to apply the concept to solve a real life problem, then it means they are able to show this intellectual level. All numerical problems, remember my dear friends, all numerical problems where single formula is used. I'm making the point very clear. All numerical problems where single formula is used are application type questions. Single formula. Then we have analyzing questions. What are analyzing questions? Analyzing means breaking a concept into subparts or in micro concepts. For example, any numerical where you are required to find 2 or 3 values. One value, single formula, one value application. More than 2, 2 or more than 2, it means they are analyzing questions. When we compare two concepts, for example, differentiate between paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. So what you will do? आप पैरामैग्नेटिक की सारी प्रॉपर्टीज लिखोगे, फिर आप फेरो की सारी प्रॉपर्टीज लिखोगे. सो व्हाट यू हैव डन, आपने एक कॉन्सेप्ट को माइक्रो कॉन्सेप्ट्स में स्प्लिट किया है. सो यू विल बी एबल टू रिकॉल नाउ कि सीबीएसई के जो बोर्ड क्वेश्चन पेपर होता है क्लास 12 का, उसमें एक क्वेश्चन जरूर होता है where we are asked to find the difference between two. So finding a difference between two is a question that belongs to analyzing ability. Or any question where you are asked to answer two or three parts. So single concept and two, three parts. It's analyzing question. Evaluating questions. So evaluation is analysis, and then on the basis of certain concept and logic, you are giving your opinion. My dear friends, remember in board question paper, there is a one question which ends with justify your answer. All questions where children give their opinion. It's not a vague opinion, it's opinion on certain logic. That question belongs to evaluation. Differentiate between copper and aluminum, and out of two, which would you prefer for making electrical wires? Now, the children will write first the properties of copper, resistivity, resistance. Similarly for aluminum, and then on the basis of resistance and resistivity, they would give their opinion that copper is better than aluminum because it carries less resistivity. So, my dear friends, this evaluation type questions develop decision-making skills among children. And this is a very, very important skill to survive in this world, decision-making skill. So you have to select the questions in such a way where the children can give their opinion, logical opinion. And the highest level of cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy is the creation type, synthesis type questions. Now, what are synthesis or creation type questions? These are the questions where the students use two or more than two concepts, known concepts, to make a new concept. Means you are given a question, for example, a numerical, but the formula to be used for that numerical is not given in your text. So that is purely an unknown situation. Now, what you will do, you will integrate two or three concepts together to generate a new formula which can be used to solve that particular problem. So you will find at least one question in your board paper where you are given an unknown situation, and you are to use the known concepts, two and more, to solve that problem. They are creation type questions. दो formulas, तीन formulas को आप integrate करोगे to generate a new one which will be used to solve this problem. So, my dear friends, application, analysis, evaluation, and creation. These four levels make competency-based questions. What are competency-based questions? The questions which need ability among children to apply the known concepts in unknown situation, which need children to analyze the problem, to evaluate the problem, to synthesize, to create a new concept to solve the problems. So upper four levels, they belong to the competency-based questions. Now, my dear friends, this is a suggestive questions as per the cognitive domain of Bloom's taxonomy by the CBSE. So I've taken a CBSE document. It's a learning framework of physics for class 12. This book is available on CBSE website. So you can download this book. So there are few suggestive questions. So for remembering type, define flux, I've told you that all definitions, they belong to remember part. In understanding, you need to ask the explanation of a concept. So see the first question for understanding ability. Explain how a charged plastic comb attracts small bits of paper. Explain why the magnitude of electric field drops off more rapidly away from an electric dipole as compared to from a point charge. Derive an expression. Derivations of a single result. They belong to the understanding ability. All derivations. Next, we have application type questions. So you look at the screen, you'll find a few questions. I've taken first chapter, charge and electric field. I've taken first chapter. So these are the questions which belong to the different levels of cognitive domain. These are suggestive questions. You are requested, you are suggested to develop your own chapter wise. This is an analysis type question. Look at the third question. Differentiate between charging by contact and charging by induction. Charging by contact means charging by conduction and charging by induction. So all questions where the children write differences between two different questions, they're analysis type questions. See, evaluation type question. I've told you a few minutes back that evaluation type questions ends with the statement, justify your answer. A is better, B is better, C is better, A is greater, B is greater. But on what basis you are saying A is better, B is better? On a certain logic. And when you give logic for your justification, that becomes an evaluation type question. Interference and diffraction में differences पूछे. And after that, so see, when you write the differences, you are doing analysis. You are dividing interference into its subparts. So you are doing an analysis. And on the basis of analysis, if you say that mobile phone gets the signal because of interference of light waves, because of diffraction of radio waves. So on the basis of their property, if you justify your answer that mobile phone is getting signal because of which phenomena? Is it interference or it is diffraction? So that becomes an evaluation type question. And which is, of course, a competency-based question. And this is a creation type question. If you read the statement, my dear friends, if you read the statement, they're asking to find the dielectric constant of a liquid. And to find the dielectric constant of liquid in this particular problem, there is no formula listed in physics. So what you need to do, what the children need to do, they will have to use two and more than two concepts to find the formula with the help of which they can find the dielectric constant of the liquid. This is a very good question of electrostatics. And this question belongs to creation because the child has created a formula. It's a new formula which is otherwise not given in the NCERT textbook. Now, after the Bloom's taxonomy, let us discuss that how do we design the question paper first. See, in a question paper, there are three steps, there are three processes. One is designing, second is development, and third is marking scheme. Let us discuss the first part, that is the designing of a question paper. So everyone of you must be knowing regarding the unit-wise weightage, which the CBSE has directed all teachers, PhD teachers, to follow. If you look at the slide, electrostatic and current electricity weightage is 16. Magnetic effects of current and magnetism, electromagnetic induction and AC, the weightage is 17. And similarly, you can see. And my dear friends, we are to follow CBSE guidelines. We cannot deviate ourselves from the CBSE guidelines for making and developing a question paper. So we are to follow this unit-wise weightage. This is a typology of questions. It is given in curriculum for class 12. So if you have gone through the curriculum issued by CBSE, you must have seen the typology of questions. And look at this. What is this? This is Bloom's taxonomy, cognitive domain. The CBSE says that class 12 physics question paper will consist of questions based on remembering and understanding. And what is the weightage? 38%, 27 marks. So these questions require low order thinking skills. So these questions are generally meant for average and below average or slow learners. 27 marks. Definition, derivations, draw diagrams. These questions belong to remembering and understanding. And next comes the competency-based questions. I've told you a couple of minutes back, applying analysis, evaluation, and creation type questions are competency-based questions. And what is the combined weightage of these four levels? Look at this. It is 43 marks. 62% questions will be based on competency and skills. So my dear friends, the question paper which is based on competency and skill testing is not a hard paper. Every year after the physics exam, the children complain that the physics paper was very hard. And you must have seen that in the past years, the result of physics class 12 is declining. It is declining. Why? Because there is a problem in our assessment that we do at the school level. We don't follow the CBSE guidelines. For some of us, our paper revolves in the first two levels. Remembering and understanding, the question paper is over. In some cases, the paper revolves in the last three levels. Either very easy or very tough. My dear friends, if we follow the guidelines of CBSE, we align all our assessments with the Bloom's taxonomy, with the typology given by CBSE, Our children will be able to develop the required competencies for which they are tested in the final board exam. And then you'll see that the result would get automatically improved. This is a blueprint made for today's session. And you all know that this blueprint is not fixed. It varies from teacher to teacher. And this is my suggestion. What we normally do, see, I'm one of you. What we normally do, first we select the questions, we design and develop the question paper. And after that, if the subject head or the principal ask for typology, and then we write the Bloom's level in front of question. This is the wrong practice, my dear friends. This is a wrong practice. We shouldn't write the Bloom's level after setting of question papers. We are to write the Bloom's level at the time of making blueprint. So when you make a blueprint, for example, I've taken 2 MCQs from electrostatics. Right here, that these MCQs will be remembering type, understanding, applying, analysis, evaluation, creation. Right here. And then after making the blueprint, count that how many questions are belonging to lots, how many questions are belonging to hordes. Then compare it with the typology issued by CBSE. And your blueprint should exactly match with the typology issued by CBSE. This is a right practice we should do at our school in all assessments. Now, after designing, after making blueprint aligned with CBSE guidelines, we are to develop the questions. My dear friends, now I'm going to share with you the strict guidelines issued by CBSE to all its paper setters. This is highly confidential, but this circular is present on the CBSE website. You can Google it and you can find those instructions. So we are to keep these all instructions in our mind while developing a question paper for class 12. Not only for class 12, for every class, we are acting as a mentor. The first instruction is the teacher shall ensure that the question paper has been set according to the syllabus. We cannot deviate from the syllabus. Any question which will be outside the syllabus will be considered as incorrect question, and CBSE has to give the extra marks or grace marks for that particular question. We all know this thing. So our all questions should be from syllabus, as per the blueprint, as per the typology of the question paper. I won't say that the all questions should be from NCERT. This is not possible in today's scenario. We will have to move outside the NCERT textbook in order to develop the required competencies among our learners. All the sets of the question papers must be comparable. हमें ऐसा नहीं करना कि सेट ए जो है वो रिमेम्बरिंग अंडरस्टैंडिंग से भर दें और सेट बी जो है वो हम हायर लेवल से भर दें. डिफिकल्टी लेवल एंड इवन जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स आप टेस्ट कर रहे हो दे मस्ट बी कंपेरेबल. जो कॉम्पिटेंसीज आप टेस्ट कर रहे हो दे मस्ट बी कंपेरेबल. And the time limit is very important. This is my suggestions to you. This is what I used to do here. When you develop a question paper, what do? You write the time limit in front of every question. And while writing the time limit of every question, keep in mind that this time is for average student. The brilliant students will finish in lesser time, whereas the slow learners would take more time. You think of an average student, and as per the average student, write the time limit in front of every question. Then after finishing all 33 questions, count that time. That should be less than 3 hours. If it is exceeding the 3 hours, it means you have not followed the CBSE guidelines properly. So time is very important. मतलब क्वेश्चन पेपर ऐसा सेट नहीं करना कि स्टूडेंट्स का 20 मार्क्स का पेपर रह जाए. We shouldn't do like this. The third instruction is the teacher shall mention against each question approximate time, जो मैंने अभी आपसे डिस्कस किया है, that may be required for answering the question by an average student. And the fourth one is that each question must be unambiguous. Double meaning question नहीं होना चाहिए. The statement should be clearly specific. The fifth is the question paper should be set strictly in accordance with the unit-wise weightage. And then we have the teacher shall prepare a comprehensive marking scheme. My dear friends, why marking scheme is mandatory? Why marking scheme is mandatory? Because it removes the subjectivity in the evaluation process. Evaluation should not be subjective. ये नहीं अपनी मर्जी से एक जगह पे 3 दे दिए और दूसरी जगह पे उसी क्वेश्चन के आंसर के 4 दे दिए. This should not happen like this. The evaluation must be objective. And the seventh is again very important, my dear friends. It's a very important instruction to enhance critical thinking and problem solving skills. MCQs must be set with the distractors. This is what the NTA does, National Testing Agency. आपको MCQs के ऑप्शंस ऐसे सिलेक्ट करने हैं जिसमें डिस्ट्रैक्टर्स हो. What are distractors? These are the wrong option, but these wrong options appear correct to those children which lack competencies or which merely depend upon rote learning. See, this is a question. This is a very good question of electrostatics. VR graph is given and we are to find electric field. You see, the correct answer is, the correct concept is E equals to minus dV by dr. All my respected friends must be knowing this. Whereas other three are distractors. If the child doesn't know that E equals to minus dV by dr, and he has a wrong concept that E equals to dV by dr, then he will mark the wrong option. Or some children will use this formula E equals to V by R. This is again a wrong option. So these are called as distractors. So if you want to test the competencies, if you want to test the sincerity among children, then you have to add distractors in few questions. Do this because CBSE does this. Sometimes you must have seen that all options appear similar. They all appear similar. ऐसा भी लग रहा है, ये भी ठीक है, ये भी ठीक है. Why? Because the children lack competencies. This is what the NTA does in JEE mains or in NEET exam. And then we have the statement of the question should be clear and specific. Look at the question. Look at the question asked in a local school, class 12. Write differences between diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic materials. This is absolutely wrong question and it won't be accepted in board exam. Differences are always between two. We cannot find differences between three. And look at the marks allotted to this question, 2 marks. The two major errors are there in this question. First, ask differences between two, not between three. And the second error is mention how many differences you want. You have allotted 2 marks to this question. So please give 2 differences. Write 2 differences between diamagnetic and paramagnetic or paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. So the statement should be specific. The children must be able to comprehend the question. मतलब statement ऐसी zigzag हमने नहीं बनानी कि students उसको understand ही ना कर पाए, उसको comprehend ही ना कर पाए. Then they won't be able to answer it correctly. And again, I'm saying that physics paper is not hard. The problem is the children lack competences. They lack required competences and skills. They are not able to think out of box. They are not critical thinker. They are not problem solver. We as a teacher, we as a mentors are required to develop all these competencies among children. The critical thinking, the creativity, problem solving skill, decision making skills. The children need these skills. So this is a sample question paper. These are the instructions. And these are the MCQs as per the guidelines of CBSE. It's a competency-based question paper. Now, if you look at the first question, Can anyone tell me that what is the cognitive level of this question? What is the cognitive level of this question? I want your responses, my dear friends. What is the cognitive level of this question? As a teacher, it is our duty that we should analyze the question paper launched by CBSE. Unless or until you will analyze it, you won't be able to deliver your best in the classroom teaching. You must know that what is the vision of CBSE, what CBSE actually want from our children. Prepare your children accordingly. They will perform outstandingly well in the board examination, my dear friends. Look at the first question. And if you look at this question critically, you will find that this question belongs to understanding level. And what is the understanding here? The understanding is that in the direction of electric field, the potential always decreases. Look at the second question here. This question is from magnetic effects of current. And the cognitive level C, apply. The children, I've told you that what are applying question where the children need to use only one formula and they have to calculate only one parameter. One formula, one parameter. Applying type questions. And similarly, we have another MCQ questions. If you read the statement here, the first question, question number 3. So this also belongs to applying type question. The fourth question you see, the diffraction effect can be observed in sound waves only, light waves only, ultrasonic waves only. sound waves as well as light waves. And see the Bloom's level, it is understanding based question. So I've just used the CBSE sample paper launched a few days back, but have critically analyzed this question paper so that I should know that what the CBSE is expecting from the children who are going to appear in the final exams in the month of February, March 2025. And similarly, you see here, this is applying type question. This is a creation type question. Look at the question. This is a wonderful question. In a series LCR circuit, the voltage across resistance, capacitance, and inductance is 10 volt each. If the capacitance is short circuited, see, this is the unknown situation. This is an unknown situation. And children will have to integrate the concepts learned in the class to solve this particular problem. So whenever an unknown situation is given to us, this is a creation type question. And this question belongs to electromagnetic waves. This is purely an understanding based question. And next question, you see it's based on atoms. And this is applying type question. So I have mentioned the cognitive levels against each question. I have analyzed it. Look at this. This is a purely applying type question. Now look at this. All assertion reasoning questions belong to analysis type questions. You are given two statements. First, you have to check the correctness of these two statements. Then you will find the relationship between them. पहले क्या किया? दोनों की correctness check की. फिर दोनों में relationship find out किया. So you have analyzed the concept. So all assertion reasoning questions, they belong to analysis type question. They require high order thinking skills, my dear friends. These are competency based questions. And next we have 2 marks questions. The first question is applying, and then we have analysis. This is a creation type question. Look at the question. And when children come out from their examination hall, they normally complain to their physics teacher that the CBSE physics paper was very tough. It is not tough. It is as per the guidelines. We have to test our children during the routine assessments that whether they are able to create the new concept or not. हमें practice करवानी है. Make your classroom assessments, make your class notes, make all your assignments aligned with the CBSE vision. This is again a very good question. Look at the end of the statement. Justify your answer. Justify your answer. So question belongs to evaluation. Children need to give their decision on the basis of what? On the basis of certain logical concepts. Decision-making skill will be developed among learners. So this is again a creation type question. The children are to draw a graph which is otherwise not given in NCERT text. Relationship they know, but they don't know the shape of the graph, whether it would be a straight line, a parabola, hyperbola, elliptical, circular, what shape. So on the basis of relationship, the children will create their own shape for this particular question. So they are doing creation. This is also a very good question. The first part is analysis, and second part, you look at the question. The connection is shifted to the upper part. Normally, you all PGT physics must be knowing कि ये जो connection होता है, center tap, it is in the middle of the coil. But they are saying that it is shifted upwards. If it is shifted upwards, so this is unknown situation. We are putting the children in an unknown situation and expecting them to answer the question. It means we will have to do the creation. And similarly, there are other questions. Look at this. This is again a creation type question, my dear friends. Look at this. It's a wonderful question of optics, ray optics. And see, this is my suggestion to all my friends. And suggestion is, whenever you develop the question paper, please don't take help of sample papers. The paper setters, I tell you, with my experiences with CBSE, the paper setters won't use the sample papers. The ultimate book that is given to them, that is suggested to them, is NCERT textbook. Questions हमें repeat नहीं करने. CBSE won't repeat them. Don't allow children to predict your question paper. So make new questions. Make creative questions at your own. Give them unknown situations. And this will develop the critical thinking. This will develop problem solving skill. This will ignite their young minds. So then no one would say for them that they are useless engineers. So this is a simple question based on Gauss's theorem. First part is remembering, statement is remembering, and derivation is understanding. All case study questions, my dear friends, all case study questions are assertion reasoning type questions. Same category, assertion reasoning and case study. They belong to analysis type questions. One concept, four parts. What are you doing? You are doing the analysis of the concept. You are splitting a concept into micro parts. So when we split a concept into micro parts, it means we are doing the analysis. We do the analysis that why the physics result is weak in second term exam. So you will have to do the analysis. What are the reasons for it? So when you list the reason that why physics result is weak, why the children have performed bad in physics, you have to list out the reasons. So what you are doing? You are doing the analysis of the problem. So here you see the question number 31. The first question is right to limitation. So this is a remembering, or you can, to some extent, they belong to understanding because there is a graph also. And the second part, you see this is application. This is a numerical problem, one single formula, one parameter. So it's an applying type question. And similarly here, it's analysis-based question. Analysis-based question. Why analysis? Because one concept, two and more than two parts you have to find out. One numerical, one formula, one parameter, applying. Two and more than two parameters, analysis. So that's how we develop a question. But again, I would request you all that while making the blueprint to write the cognitive level of Bloom's taxonomy, and then you design and develop your question paper. First, decide how many questions MCQ you want, remembering type, understanding type, analysis type, creation type, and then develop the question. And please don't write the cognitive level after making the question paper. It's a wrong practice. Next is a marking scheme. It's a very, very important part of the process of the development of the question paper. As I told you, what is the objective of marking scheme? The CBSE says to all head examiners that the marking scheme must be followed religiously. Why? Because it removes the objectivity. It removes the subjectivity and brings the objectivity. Stepwise marking should be there. And very important, Dr. Nita Karwal, which used to be the chairperson of CBSE, once she said, all creative answers, this is my personal request to all creative answers should be given pure credit. All creative answers. अब ये नहीं है कि a student hasn't followed the method given in NCERT textbook, or we won't give the full credit to that person, that student. If the child is creative, he has used an innovative method to solve that particular problem, please do give the credit to that student. All creative answers must be given the due credit. This is what the CBSE says to all head examiners across Pan India. So, see, this is a marking scheme developed, and question number 17 I've taken. It's a 2 marks question. And out of 2 marks, you see the half mark. The half mark is given to the formula. Then half mark is for the expression of wavelength, which we need to calculate here. Half mark for substitution of values of all variables and constants. And the last half mark for the result. So a 2 marks question has been splitted into 4 parts. Half mark for the answer, half mark for the substitution of values, half mark for the original formula, and half mark for the wavelength expression. Next is question number 18. You look at this. Actually, when we develop a marking scheme, we are to highlight the value points. See, the most important part regarding the development of marking scheme is highlights the value points. That in your answer, what are the value points you need to display and give them the few credit. अब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि 2 marks दिए और 10 steps का आपने numerical पूछ लिया. This is a wrong practice. Again, if you look at this question number 20 and the marking scheme, look at this. The first question, first part, half mark for each. Nuclear fission, half mark. Reason, half mark. Then nuclear fusion, half mark. Reason, half mark. So the every step is given the credit. Again, you see it's a creation type question. So 4 steps are there, 2 marks question, 4 steps, every step is given half mark. Every step is given half mark. And make sure the children are writing units everywhere. This is very important. Many students lose mark because of their ignorance. They don't write units in the answer. And there are strict instructions from the CBSE that deduct the marks if the children are not writing the units. Please explain to your students that it's very, very important to write the units in each numerical problem. And similarly, again, you can see the marking scheme for a 5-mark question. At the last, my dear friends, the CBSE has launched very good resource material for plus 2 physics. And this resource material, this book contains competency focused practice questions. If you have already downloaded these books, it's a very good thing. But if you don't know, please do it today. These books are available on CBSE website, CBSE Academic Unit. Competency focused practice questions. There are 2 volumes. The volume 1 was launched in the session 23-24, and volume 2 has been launched in the session 24-25. Chapter wise questions, all competency based with answer. So please do share this information with your students so they can download these books, they can practice these questions, and they can develop the competencies among themselves. And these books are available for each subject. For maths, there are 4 volumes. For chemistry, there are 2. For biology, there are 2. For English, there are 4 volumes. These books are available for class 10 and for class 12. So very good books. Please do refer these books. They are available free of cost on the CBSE website. Thank you very much. If you have, my dear friends, any query, please do ask me. Please do ask your queries regarding the design and development of the question paper of class 12 physics. Any doubt? An attendance link has been shared in the chat box. Please do fill your attendance. A certificate will be issued to you for this program. Please do write your name, your phone number, email ID. And if you have any query regarding designing and development, please do ask me. I would love to answer your queries. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining my session.
Thank you, sir. I extend my heartfelt thanks to you for your efforts to enlighten us with the right strategies and skills to design and develop the competency-based physics question paper for senior secondary classes. Thank you, sir.